Today's video is going to be very insightful and it's going to be kind of powerful and maybe somewhat disruptive because I'm going to share with you how AI could have been used to prevent the attempted assassination on former President Trump. Now, this might be a little controversial because some of the things I'm going to say might rattle some boats here, but what I'm going to share with you is how current modern AI that we have readily available and that isn't super expensive, how if it had simply been in place, if it had simply been used, it could have totally prevented this assassination attempt. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to give three specific examples, three specific different ways that AI could have been used for this. And again, this is AI that's been around for 2 years already that could have been implemented to fully prevent this from happening. The very first one deals with the overall registration process, right? To begin with, when you go through and decide that you want to go to one of these rallies, you fill out a simple registration form. You put in your phone number, you put in your email address, your name, all that stuff, right? That could be enhanced through AI. Here recently, I got an opportunity to go to a really interesting event. It was called the Orion Summit, and it showcased a lot of modern technology. But again, this was actually 2 years ago. And one of the technologies being showcased is from a group called Scylla AI. Now, I've talked about them in the past, and the thing is, I have firsthand experience because I actually got to meet the VP, Andre Akopian. Very smart guy, knows his stuff, and he was able to show me a lot of different things about the capabilities of what their system can do. So one of the very interesting and powerful products that they have is this AI system that basically allows you to have your face as a ticket. So I'll let him explain.
People attending the show download an app, take 3 simple photos of themselves, and enroll themselves in the show. Upon arriving at the complex or the venue, Scylla immediately, within seconds, will understand that the person has arrived, check them in, and they can proceed to the show. We're utilizing existing cameras at the venue. You don't need to buy any hardware. Scylla, as always, has been agnostic to any type of camera hardware, and it'll alert personnel when a person has arrived that is not enrolled, and that person would have to go and check into the show, buy their ticket.
So I have firsthand experience with this. I went to this presentation, like I said, and as I walked in, I noticed that there were cameras, just like in all locations, right, for security. But as I walked in, I went to the registration table, and before I could say anything, before I could mention who I was in any way, they simply looked up at me and handed me my packet. They're like, here's your packet of information, and here's your credential, a little tassel to wear. They're like, here you go, Mr. Anders. And I was like, whoa, how did you know me? I don't know you. And they're like, oh, yeah, our AI system instantly recognizes you from the photos that you submitted before for registration. And so now we can see that you're here. And this is really powerful because the way that the system works is that people that aren't registered, that the cameras are looking at, it will also be detected as well. So that's really powerful. So that already enhances the overall security of an area because all registrants have gone through this process and the AI knows who's supposed to be there, and we can also recognize who's not supposed to be there, right? Someone else that isn't registered or they haven't put in the credentials, well, now the AI is going to say something and it's going to notify the people running the area, the people that are in charge of security, and tell them, hey, that person shouldn't be here. So that's a very powerful system that already exists. It's not some far-fetched thing. It's not some crazy, super expensive thing. No, this already exists. This should have been used, should have been implemented, and it needs to be implemented going forward. So the use of AI is really powerful. And all these examples here I'm saying all these things to heighten everyone's understanding of AI literacy because one of the key components is awareness that AI is out there, and another part of AI literacy is capabilities. Well, what can it do? Well, I'm sharing these capabilities to you so that we can discuss should we implement these things or not, because then that ties in with critical thinking, some ethical questions that might come up. So an ethical question that you could consider here, thinking about registration as a powerful AI component, if we have AI registration, well, now I had to have submitted my photo. Was that ethical? Is it okay for me to submit my photo so I'm on some database as far as attending this rally or this meeting? That's a question to ask. That's an ethical thing to consider. Now, again, it's nothing in life is black or white. We could have some gray area. We could have legislation, laws, rules to say that, yes, we need to create these type of things for security. And then as soon as that rally is done, well, then that database needs to go away. They don't need to track that, right? Maybe I want my information protected. So those are considerations, possible implementations. It could say that, oh yeah, all of that information has to go away unless somebody was a suspect for some other issue, someone caused a problem, something like that. Maybe that information could be kept, but everyone else, yeah, that doesn't need a record doesn't need to be kept of that. So again, different ways of implementation. So those are some ethical considerations, the critical thinking aspect of AI literacy for us to take into account. So that would be one way that already that would have helped the situation with the attempted Trump assassination. If we had had a record of him registering, now we already have his image. Now the AI could already be using that to detect. Now, if there's a problem, I could go in and say, hey, where was the last time this person was seen? Or did this person fully register? Yes, they registered, but they didn't come through the gates. All sorts of information that the AI could provide us instantly. So again, that's one powerful implementation, one powerful way that AI could have been used to prevent the situation from happening in the first place. Second one. Now the second one here is an extension of that because this same company, the Scylla AI, the same company, they also provide additional capabilities with their AI being implemented within drones. If we had simply had a drone that was flying around, and the drone that I'm talking about isn't the type of thing that you're probably thinking of. I'm not talking about using up police force time to have a bunch of police going in there with drones looking around. That could be some implementations, but the type of drones that are now available, and again, using the Scylla AI, is fully automated, meaning that the drones go out there, they're flying a path on their own. No human needs to be monitoring it constantly or controlling it to move it around. No, it's going on different patterns, and there could be multiple, so they're crisscrossing, they're observing everything. There's also different implementations where it's even high up and it's observing everything with a high definition camera and then zoning in to different areas. Lots of different ways to do it. But what this AI drone, it goes around, it's looking, and then it auto detects. It can auto detect a face, meaning that person shouldn't be in this location. So that's one way would have prevented this situation because the AI could have been set to say, hey, detect these rooftops, and if anyone is on that rooftop, let me know. And that's the real power here, right? That's the real power, is that it can detect faces, it can detect objects, it can detect a gun, it can totally go through and say, hey, this is a gun, and then report back to you. And that's the big part. It reports back to you. So it could have been a matter of a simple app being placed on all the Secret Service or all the police force in the area. They have this app, and now if the AI detects anything like a gun that shouldn't be in a certain location, boom, they'll get an instant message. They'll get notified just like that, saying, hey, danger, there's a situation right here. Instantly, they could go and take care of the situation. Instantly. So that's really powerful because oftentimes we think of security personnel where we might have cameras set up and then we have to have people there that are monitoring, like, you know, 10, 20, 30 cameras. It's very difficult for a human to be looking at all these things and deciding, oh, is that an issue? Is that an issue? But with the power of AI, the AI is constantly monitoring everything. And then when it detects something, then it instantly sends a message to the human and saying, hey, look right here, there might be an issue. It's sort of nudging aspects, right? We have that with learning management systems as well. When a student maybe isn't doing so well, there could be nudging notes, messaging back to the faculty saying, hey, this is something for you to look into. This is something for you to address. This is really powerful. This would have totally prevented this situation from occurring if we simply had drones flying around, AI embedded that could detect different things. Somebody shouldn't be there. Hey, there's a gun. Instant notification. And now someone can go and do it. So now we go into sort of critical thinking about this implementation, right? What are some ethical issues to consider here? Well, now this AI is monitoring everything and everyone. Okay, this is at a specific event, at a rally, right? This was a political rally. Is that okay for it to be monitoring everyone, to be recording everybody? Yes and no, things to think about at least. And then we go to the next step, right? Well, what about giving the AI additional powers? Or maybe not additional powers, but what if on the drone we had something like we could install a taser within the drone? So now here we have a drone flying around and it detects that, hey, there's a person on this rooftop. They shouldn't be there. So it notifies the human. Then the human sees it, says, yeah, that's a danger. And plus there's a gun right there. Yeah, let's taser this person. The drone could go in and do it automatically. It could do it automatically, or it could do it with an additional human saying, verify, yes, do it. So that's an ethical consideration. Do we want to arm a drone? Do we want to arm an AI? I know that that might seem a little extreme for some people, but guess what? That could have prevented this situation. That could have prevented the death of the innocent person that was at this rally. The president almost died. Several other people got hurt. I would much rather someone get tasered than this to have occurred. So lots of real ethical things to consider with this implementation. But this is AI capabilities that are available right now. Right now. They've been available for a couple of years now. Scala AI, that's been around for like 2 years. So this stuff should have been used by Secret Service. You would think that Secret Service would have the most advanced things and capabilities. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from our brave people that serve. We have brave police officers, brave Secret Service. I've been in the military in the past, and I've actually worked and interacted with Secret Service as well. All top-notch people. But the problem here is there was problems with management and there was problems with processes and implementation, all of which AI could have helped to have addressed. So that's why I'm making this video, is for us to at least think about this, and then for the Secret Service to look into and be like, yeah, that's totally right. We could have used AI that could have prevented this, and hopefully this can help situations in the future. Now, this third implementation, again, there's ethical considerations here too, but I think this is a really powerful one as well. So this next idea here, implementation, would be using AI as an expert system. This is something that more and more people, more and more groups will be using. Think about this. If I'm a doctor, I can use a current AI right now to look at different types of cancers. If someone I think might have cancer, I can run what the image of that cancer section, let's say it's skin cancer, I can run that image through an AI. The AI will compare that with thousands and thousands of other images, and then it will give a recommendation saying, oh, it's this type, or this should be your next actions going forward. Now, I, as the doctor, would be like, thank you for that recommendation. I'm not simply going to blindly do what you tell me to do, but no, it's an expert system. So here's a recommendation. Now I make a decision of what I want to do next. I can use that information. Then I need to go through and verify and then move forward. So again, this expert system. In the same way, I actually did this. Again, this is very rudimentary, but this is what I did for this situation to, again, give this as a demonstration. So I took an image of the schematic. Basically, it was a photo of the situation where this occurred, this rally, all the different places, all of the different buildings. I put in a star there of where the president was, and then I put in distance to one of the buildings where the shooter was actually located. I had that image and I fed that to an AI. I gave it that image and I said, hey, act as a security personnel expert and tell me what I should do for security purposes. Where should I put snipers? Where should I put people in order to watch different areas? And it came back and gave me these recommendations. So again, that's crudely done. It was an advanced prompt, but it could have been more advanced. It could have been a specific AI that's designed specifically for defense, right? But even this simple AI, even this commonly available AI, guess what it told me? It told me, hey, you need to have security people on that roof. You need to have snipers in this area. Yes, a sniper should go on the tower, right? All these different things that the AI was simply able to give me. So in implementation of this, it could be a matter of, okay, I'm at this rally beforehand and I'm deciding where to put personnel. Now I can use my expert system AI. It can go through and verify my information. It could say, yeah, I agree. Or it could say, hey, here are my recommendations. Here are my thoughts based off of the situations. Now I can use that as an expert system or as just an additional advice, a different viewpoint, so I can go through and ensure that I'm doing the very best possible to have the best protection for the president, protection for the people to avoid the situation from happening. So an expert AI system is something that's totally implementable. And so here's the critical thinking question. I believe that in the future, this is going to be the mandate. This is going to be what you have to do. If I have an expert system that tells me the correct answer based off of thousands of protocols, thousands of things that have occurred in the past, it has all this information, it truly is an expert, and it gives me all this advice, and then I choose not to follow it, well, then who's going to be to blame? This person. So now implementing an expert AI system into the process is going to be that much more beneficial. Again, lots of ethical considerations there, right? But I think it's going to get to the point where we have AI systems that are so good, so impactful and beneficial that to not use an AI is going to be a neglecting thing, and that could result in lots of problems. So I definitely see that as the future. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this. Is that something that is ethically wrong? What are some ramifications? I would love to get your comments on all three of these ideas, right? First one is using someone's face as part of the registration to begin with, and then to observe everyone in in the area in order to see, hey, did they register? Did they not register? What are they doing here? That type of thing. So ethical considerations there, some questions, some ideas there. And then the drones, using drones. What are your thoughts on that? Because now we have AI drones that can fly on their own, that can observe everything, that can see and tell that's a gun, or that's a person that shouldn't be there, or that's someone in an unauthorized area. The AI is very powerful, could really help us with that. What are your questions on that? What are your thoughts on that? Is that ethical? What if we gave the AI the power to have a taser? Again, it could be controlled by a human to actually implement the taser, or maybe not. What if we just gave AI that power and say, hey, if there's a violation, if you see a gun to someone that shouldn't have a gun, taser that person immediately? Again, possibilities. What are your ethical thoughts on that, right? Raises all sorts of questions. And then finally, expert systems. What are your thoughts on that? Should it be a mandate? Should you have to use an AI system? Or should it be something that at least goes through the process as I go through my safety checklist to ensure that I'm doing the very best mission possible to ensure safety and security of the area? Might that be one of the things? Is, did I verify this with an AI? Did I get a second opinion with the AI? All very powerful, and all things that if all three of these things were implemented, I'm 100% confident that this would not have happened, that we wouldn't have had this death, and we wouldn't have the near death of President Donald Trump. So lots of different things to consider. Secret Service, if you're watching this, I definitely hope that you look into this and contemplate these implementations, because there's going to be other rallies. Again, this channel isn't political in any way. I don't want Kamala Harris to get hurt. I don't want anyone in Washington to get hurt. And more importantly, I don't want any innocent bystanders to get hurt either. So implementing this is going to be of utmost importance so that we can prevent these things from happening in the future. Thank you, everybody. I hope you got a lot out of this. Please share this so that we can have a discussion and really think about some of these ideas. So please like, share, subscribe, and remember, learning is for life.